Great decorating is all about the details, including a gorgeous textured set of coasters. How we love a coaster. Functional. And why not be beautiful? Quince has a gorgeous set of woven rattan coasters in 3 terrific colors with their own little holder that you're going to absolutely love. And if you haven't visited quince.com/DTT yet, get on over there. It's everyday elevated living without the markup. From crisp 100% linen bedding and soft organic cotton towels to airy curtains and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And the best part? Like Quince's clothing, their home goods are half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. We're going to light your fire. Today is Rapid Fire Declutter. We're going to get you going, light your fire, and clear out your house. You could actually do it as you're listening. And today is also a really special day.
Happy birthday!
It's our birthday. Happy birthday, Anita.
Happy birthday to you. I hope you're having a great day today.
Well, what better way to spend the beginning of our birthday than chatting with each other and having everybody join us? So today is our actual birthday, and if you're new to us, you might not know that, odd as it may seem, we were born on the same day.
Right. Not the same year, but the same day.
So super exciting. And if anybody is interested in giving us a gift for our birthday.
How about a free gift? How about something you don't have to spend money on?
Absolutely free. Just a couple minutes of your time. How about an Apple podcast review for decorating tips and tricks? We would appreciate that so much. It helps the show so much to get those very positive 5-star Apple podcast reviews. We thank you in advance. In January, we're all clearing out the holiday decor and whatnot. And then I like to decorate with some whites and greens and some woody elements. So I've been going to Trader Joe's and picking up orchids, and I'm going to my favorite local nursery. I've got a few more houseplants and pulling out that patinaed silver that I love, using lots of candles, of course. And I did your trick. I took a throw and tossed it over my dining room table, rakishly askew. And I have a couple of orchids clustered in the center and some boxwood in some black vases on either side. And it looks really good.
Well, that sounds so nice.
But you've had so much going on.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I kind of mentioned last week that we were moving. And we did.
As promised, you did.
If you've been listening for a while, you probably know for 15 years or so, we've had a city house in Houston and a farmhouse in Round Top. As much as I love both places, it was just wearing on me going back and forth. And so we made the decision and decided that we were going to live near Round Top. And it's not actually in Round Top, but it's very close by. We did end up buying a different place than our farmhouse because we wanted a little more room. It's been a fun change, and I think we're going to really enjoy it going forward.
Let's dig into rapid fire decluttering. So this is no-brainer decluttering. This is not the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning, where you're going to be really looking at things and thinking about who it goes to and where it goes and all of that. This is not going through photo albums and reminiscing and tossing some and keeping most. This is really just grabbing onto, let's call it the low-hanging crap that you can easily donate or even just throw away in rapid fire speed.
That's right. And there are so many things that you just probably should get rid of.
One that I love is artwork that you never hung. This is like, you think you're going to do it and it leans, or you've got it in a closet, and then you go to look at it again and you think, I don't even like it. So if you haven't hung it in a long time and you don't like it, or you need to frame it and you don't want to spend the money for it, move it on. That's a great thing to donate.
Oh, how about the gifts you don't like? It seems like a lot of people have a closet full of things they got as a gift and they feel like they can't get rid of. And I'm here to tell you, you can.
Yeah, and don't re-gift them. Unless it's something that is really nice, but you just doesn't work with your colors, or you don't like it, or you're not a gardener and someone gave you gardening stuff. If it's just not good, don't re-gift it to somebody else, because then they're going to have to keep it and try to move it on too. So
I know.
Donate it. How about cookbooks that are dated, in that you don't eat that way anymore, or you never really use them? There's something about cookbooks that I think people feel like they should hold on to, but if you're not using it as a resource on a regular basis, move that out.
Oh, I had such a hard time with that when we were moving, because I just had never gotten rid of cookbooks. But I did, I felt like Sophie's Choice, but I did choose a few and say, okay, you're going to go to a new owner. So I sent it to the thrift store. So hopefully someone else is cooking from it now. How about broken items that you're not going to fix? I mean, we all have those things where you're like, oh, I'm going to glue this together, but you don't.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
I know. I had a keychain that was my daughter's. I don't even think she wanted it anymore, but I just never had the right glue. And I'm like, sorry, babe. I didn't tell her, and she's not going to listen. So it's fine. She won't know. But she doesn't need that. It's gone. It was broken.
In the process of moving at the farmhouse, I was clearing things out, and I had like 3 boxes of Evie's clothes from when she lived there a couple of years ago, and she's never even, asked for them, if that tells you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so rather than just bringing them in without looking at them, I left them outside and said, why don't you go through these and just, if you're going to wear them, leave a few things here, but take everything else. Well, we had a fun trip to Goodwill.
Oh, there you go.
All that stuff. I think she took 2 things out of 3 massive boxes.
Plants on life support. Sometimes houseplants just don't make it. Plants live for a period of time, and sometimes they don't thrive, and you can get rid of them and get some new fresh houseplants. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I went and got 3 new beautiful houseplants. Now, they might last me a few years, but when a few years goes by and they're not doing so well anymore, I'm not going to keep them anymore. They look sad, and I think plants on life support kind of bring down the whole vibe of a room.
Oh, definitely. How about old candles? I found a bunch of old candles that, some were obviously get rid of, but some of them you're like, well, they could be, they look okay, but I'm thinking the reality is I'm not going to use them. Some had never been burned, but I'm like, I'm not going to use them. So why are they here wasting space?
Yeah. Or the ones that become misshapen when you do burn them. I was just at a client the other day, and there was a lot of misshapen candles. I'm going to have to talk to her about that. Now, you can freeze ones that are in a nice container, and I do this and probably do this too much because I do have a lot of former candle containers that I use as vases, but I do use them, so that's good, right? So you can freeze wax out of a candle. So if it burns down to the bottom, stick it in the freezer for a few hours overnight, and then you can just kind of with a butter knife pop it out. If it becomes a project to get the wax out, let it go. It's not worth the effort. One thing I would mention is when you're purchasing candles, think about getting ones that don't have exterior labels if you want to do this, because it's hard to get the label off.
How about the moving materials from your last move? If you have room for them and you think you might be moving soon, that's great. But otherwise, that can really take up a lot of space and be a big mess. So move that on out.
It's not even for moving. I have 2 big hefty bags filled with bubble wrap because I might send someone something. I don't need all of that, right? And I do send packages once in a blue moon that would need bubble wrap, but I can probably at least half or quarter that. So if you're a person kind of like a magpie-ish, like I am, like, oh, I might need that. Oh, that's kind of shiny. Let me just put that in. Oh, a little piece of ribbon. I'm going to save that. I do use a lot of things like that, but sometimes I just even have excess, and I definitely think I have too much bubble wrap.
How about extra bottles and food storage containers? Like when we combined the houses, I had way too many storage containers. So a big stack of them are going. Sometimes they get stained, misshapen, the lids get broken.
Yeah.
Maybe it's cracked. Just move that stuff on out. And, I like just having a few of the glass containers. They don't stain. And I think that's a great way to go. And then they don't have the BPA in it either.
Yeah. I have this guilt when we do takeout and then they come in the plastic. And I feel like I can't just throw this plastic out. So I saved them. And what I was doing was just making nice, neat piles of the different sizes, the rectangles and the circles. And I was keeping it down in the basement, and I had the lid separate.
Oh,
and then
goodness.
I would go to take one and, I can reuse that. My daughter made cookies or something. Let's put them in there. You know what? All the rectangles are not the same shape exactly. And the lids are a little different. So I'm down there. In fact, I think Peter was like, are you all right? I was down there for so long trying to find some lids.
Did he not
that
find
would
you
fit
underneath the
bottom.
rubble?
Exactly. He's like pushing aside the bubble wrap, and he found me. So it took me quite some time to find one or two where the lids actually fit the bottom, because I guess, every takeout place orders the different size, slightly different size.
Do you think it's BPA free, really?
It's probably not.
Yeah.
I know. So you're like, oh, it's going to a landfill. I only used it once. So one used plastic. And then the other hand, you're like, oh, chemicals in my cookies, not good either.
Yeah.
But the frustration of not getting a lid that fit the top. So what I've done is I gave them away. I saved maybe 2 or 3, and I put the proper lid on them. So I took the time to do that. And now I have like 2 or 3 in a couple of different shapes down there. And I'm not going to reheat anything in them, of course. So I think it's okay if you just put stuff in them that isn't going to go in the microwave or anything. But you let me know later on if that's a bad idea.
Okay, let's just move on then.
That became not rapid fire, but okay.
Yeah. How about old food in your refrigerator? I mean, just old, the mustard.
Okay, if you need a tip on that, you need more help. We need to come over.
Well, my refrigerator gets pretty full, so then you don't even realize there's, you have 3 mustards in there, or the one's been, they're from 19. Oh my gosh, 19. That would be really bad. Yeah, 2022 or something. So that's something to really think through, is go through your refrigerator, go through your freezer. It's so easy to have that stuff in your freezer for a long time. And some people think once it's in your freezer, it will keep forever. It won't.
No. Oh, and I'm going to have a crush that taught me something about that in the future. Continue listening to get the tip on the book that you should listen to or read that's going to let you know so many things about the kitchen, but also about cooking. Lots of good tips in that book, but you'll have to stay tuned. How about frayed, stained napkins? We always suggest that you use cloth napkins. Obviously, you don't want to creating more paper that's going to go in landfills. Anyway, it just looks nicer and it takes your meal to another level. But if they're frayed and stained and they just don't look their best anymore, let them go. That's something you can just throw out, or that's something you could donate to someplace that takes old material or t-shirts or things like that. There are actual companies that do that, but I think you can just let that go and get yourself a new set of napkins, or use the ones that you have in the drawer that are supposed to be for special occasions, because every day is a special occasion. Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. So have you tried Dupe yet? If you haven't, come on, dupe.com. It is going to be your new shopping best friend. And it's not just for furniture. I know I've shared with you about my coffee table dupe, but you can save money with Dupe on fashion, shoes, jewelry, and more. I just used Dupe to find an absolute perfect twin of this t-shirt that I wanted. It was an $80 t-shirt. I was not going to pay $80 for a t-shirt. Dupe helped me find the twin, like maybe the exact same shirt. Find something you love, and then you can find replicas, twins, and maybe the exact thing for so much less. Give Dupe a try today. It is really so easy to use. You just type DUPE.com, // before any product URL in your browser, and voila, it instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account is required. No sign up is required. It is completely free. I know, can you believe it? But it is completely free to use. Stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today.
And, when you were talking about the containers from the restaurants, what about the condiment packets? I just found a packet of, I don't know, mustard sauce or something from the Chinese takeout on the countertop downstairs. And I'm like, okay, I didn't pick it up and put it in the trash can, but I will as soon as this is over because that's sitting there. And then the plasticware, I do keep an extra fork, knife that we didn't use from takeout. I'll keep a few of those.
Yeah.
But how many do you need?
I find that even if you're ordering from DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything like that, and they're bringing it to your house, they still bring you the utensils, which I think is really weird because why would you really need them if it was coming to a house? And I've tried to say when you used to call and order for food, hey, I don't need all that stuff or don't give me this. And one time I went through this whole thing with a Chinese restaurant and they ended up not bringing us the dumplings that I really wanted. And we still got all the little orange duck sauce that I didn't want. It was very confusing. I was clearly not communicating well.
Oh, you said you don't want this.
Yeah, I don't want the duck sauce, but I guess they meant we only wanted the duck sauce and not the dumplings, which was really a problem. Sometimes that stuff just comes into your life. And I have to say, my family, they just roll their eyes now because those little packets will come in and I'm opening them all on the counter and putting them into like this cute little dish to put out. But they're just like, could you just give me the bottle of soy sauce that we have in the fridge? Do we have to go through this every time? Just me opening up little packets and making little tiny bowls of them. But anyway, I just feel guilty of not using it, right? And if it sits there for too long, it's not good to use anyway. So either open it up, use it promptly, or toss it.
Yeah, how about the clothes that don't fit anymore? Oh, that's so sad. I mean, it's just depressing for me to even look at it if it's in my closet. So if it doesn't fit, just get rid of it because it's just going to make you sad every time you look at it.
You mean all those clothes that are just too big and you
that is what I'm talking about.
Swimming on you. Absolutely.
Well, that does happen to me,
Yeah. How about the cruddy towels, blankets, and sheets?
Yeah.
I just did a whole trunk full to the Pasadena Humane Society, and they were so thrilled. So blankets, sheets, towels, humane societies love them for the cages or when the little doggies or cats have babies, and they use those all the time.
Oh, how about old makeup? Again, there's just so many things you use in your house that's consumable like that can get old, and it's not good to use it when it's old, but you just are not checking the expiration dates and looking at when you bought it because it's not something you're eating. But it is true that your laundry detergent can be too old to use. The shampoos, conditioners, body lotions are the worst. I mean, I've smelled body lotions that just literally smelled rancid that I've thrown out, and they weren't even that old. So you really do need to be careful because some of these products, when they get old, you don't want them touching your body.
Oh, yeah. And makeup really doesn't have an expiration date generally. I wonder if there are any companies that do that now.
Well, right, they don't, but, so you kind of just have to, police yourself and say, I, bought this a long time ago and it probably should go.
I do have a smoky eye eyeshadow that I must have bought 20 years ago, and I never use it really, but why do I still have it? Like, I don't do smoky eye. It's not my thing. So I don't know. I'm going to get rid of that. You're going to pick up that condiment packet, and I'm going to toss that smoky eye eyeshadow right after this. How about wrapping paper past its prime? Now, I did mention that I'm a little magpie. I like little ribbons.
Now,
I do collect.
You mean past its prime, like too old, or it just doesn't look good?
If it's on a roll, it's kind of a little wrinkly at the edges and whatnot. Or it's a bow that looks like maybe someone sat on it at Christmas, and then you picked it up and put it in your saving bow bag. Cull through there. There's probably some stuff in there that isn't looking too good that you wouldn't use anyway. And that is all of this adds up and takes a lot of space. Individually, a bow or a soy sauce packet is not going to make or break your storage capacity in your home. But think of all the things we're talking about today, and you all can probably think about more things. And if you want to email us with even more ideas of things that you can rapid fire declutter, please do. All this stuff adds up.
How about the old mugs? And we almost got in a fight about the old mugs just a couple of days ago.
Again, you and your family with the mugs.
Oh my gosh, with the mugs. And I'm like, how many do you need? I said, really, come on, just one for every day until we run the dishwasher.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I mean, there was one that was faded. You couldn't even read what it said anymore. And I'm like, are you serious?
And people may have gotten mugs for Christmas. Mugs is kind of one of those gifts that sometimes show up. Pet toys. Now, I have 3 little pets. Only one of them actually gets the idea of playing with a toy. The other 2 are like, why are you throwing that thing at me? So,
yeah, I know.
She loves to play with them, but she also tears them apart. So exposed squeakers, that's not safe. Get rid of those. Or ones that just look really kind of yucky. You don't want those laying around your house anyway. You could try to throw them in the washer and see what happens, but there's probably a few that are all torn up. Get rid of those, and maybe your little loved one would get a new toy.
What about all your picture frames that you have photos in that are not being displayed? I was a portrait photographer. I have a lot of photos of my girls. 8 by 10s, 11 by 16s, 16 by 20s, a lot. I had a lot of frames for all these things sitting out, but I don't have them displayed anymore. But I don't want to get rid of photos. So what I did was I took all these photos out of the frames and kind of stored them in a portfolio, which is very thin, and just got rid of all the frames and just gave them away. And that way I keep the photos for memories. If my girls want them, they're there, they can have them and frame them later in their own fun frames. And I just does not require as much space to store them.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Or you had a photo and the frame was when you were in your Tuscan phase or some other little cutesy frame or something like that. They take up a lot of space.
Yeah,
I have had a lot of those too. But the other thing is, remember when the empty frame was a big decor element?
Yeah.
I have a lot of those. And I have gone through periods of time where I'm then looking for maybe vintage art or something else to put in them. But it's really hard to put something in those frames because they really have no back and they have no thing that's going to really clamp it on. So if you have those too, you're probably not going to be using the empty frames as decor very much anymore. That was kind of a look and it's no longer really a look. So you might want to let those go.
Yeah, I have some of those, and they're really beautiful gesso frames. They're gorgeous. So I have them in a pile, and I'm trying to think what I'm going to do with them. But yeah.
Well, you live in Round Top now. A couple of times a year, you're going to have an opportunity to find some art for those.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh boy, this one's a tough one. I don't even know if I can say this one. This one's hard.
Does it involve a toilet?
No, pillows you aren't using.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's a tough one because
we love pillows.
Well, I have, I had to buy some bins to put my extra pillow inserts in the barn. And I'm just not
What's so funny about that? I have the same.
Okay. Okay.
No. Only if they're good inserts, you can have.
Oh, they're all good. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have bad inserts that don't make your pillows look good, you should get rid of those.
Yeah.
Because a good insert, you don't have to have a lot of good inserts, but you do have to have enough if you like to switch your pillows around. Like I just did all of the switching around. Now, it takes a lot of time to find the right insert for the right size pillow cover. So some of the ones that I will transition out seasonally, I just leave the nice insert inside the cover. Now that does take up more room, but every once in a while you need to take the cover off. And so you have to have a place to keep your good inserts.
Well, right. And I was using those space bags, but I cannot tell you why. I have just worked on those. Some of them will stay sealed and some of them just don't. And I really don't know why.
Does it just explode? Like you were like, what's that?
It just fills back up with air.
Oh.
Like I refuse to stay compressed.
Interesting.
And I've squeezed out every bit of air and and the seal is on there, and I don't know what's going on.
Huh.
I just went with the bins. They're easier to stack. They're neater looking. And the space bags I've given up on.
Well, here's an option for hiding away your inserts. Put them in old suitcases, and then you don't have to get rid of the suitcases.
Well, I got rid of my suitcases, so there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. You should get rid of old suitcases. Sometimes they just look not so great. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go to the airport with a full set of Louis Vuitton. I think that's silly.
Although that would be nice, though.
Oh my gosh, people spend so much money on luggage, and then people are tossing it all over the place. And
then it doesn't matter what's in it. Someone would just steal it for the bag. So no, I would never go to the airport with a Louis Vuitton case because I would expect that it would not get off of the carousel.
Some suitcases just are, kind of the one you got last minute at TJ Maxx or Marshall's, and it really never stood up right or anything like that, or the wheel came off. That's one of those things you're not going to fix. Get rid of it. Get a new suitcase.
What about books you're no longer interested in? Because I'm kind of running out of room with the bookcases. I have a certain amount of space to put bookcases in, and then that's kind of it. We're kind of reaching that limit here. So I told all the interested parties, once we run out of room, we're going to be tossing some books.
Yeah, you get one mug and 2 books, and that's it.
Maybe a few more books, but yeah.
There's a new sheriff in Round Top, and that's what you get. Hey, how about if you've moved climates, but you're still keeping your former climate clothing?
Have you heard? We're going to get a really cold front coming through here, so don't get rid of those coats just yet.
Oh, okay. So climate change is affecting whether or not that is on our list. That is so sad and true. You're absolutely right. But do you have to keep all of it? If you lived in New York and then you moved to Florida, do you need to keep every single one of your winter coats and all
the
of your
hats,
sweaters and
the gloves
and all the gloves and all the scarves and all the hats and boots? I mean, it's hard for me to get rid of boots because I love boots. But if you've moved to a different climate, I think over a period of time, you don't have to do it all right away, and definitely keep a couple of outfits because, hey, you might travel, let alone getting an ice storm in your own Florida resort home. But you don't need it all.
Well, here's the weird thing that I'm having a hard time letting go of, and I really can't even tell you why. I have my mother-in-law's gloves. And I don't mean cold weather gloves. I mean, you would go to a nice dinner, you would wear gloves. She had navy gloves, black gloves, white gloves, short gloves, long gloves. There were a lot of gloves there. Gloves with curls, gloves with bows. I don't know, probably 20 sets of gloves that I have of hers. And I don't know, I have it on the pile to go, but it hasn't left the door yet. I'm like, I don't know. They're just kind of sweet. For some reason, I kind of like them.
Oh, they are so sweet. That's B, right?
Yes.
Oh, so, I mean, I think you could keep all of them. And when you fold them, they wouldn't take up too much room. But maybe,
that's true. They're small.
Yeah, maybe you just pick like 5.
Oh, that's true.
What could be really nice is maybe your fave you frame in one of those Gasso frames.
That's a great idea.
Because didn't you do that with one of the christening dresses from the girls?
I did do that. They're not up here in the new house. I've taken them down, but yeah.
Yeah, but true. You did that and you displayed it for a while, right? So maybe the gloves come in.
Yeah, that's true.
How about stuff that's, air quote, valuable, but you don't really like it or it doesn't really fit you? Now, when I thought about this, a pair of Jimmy shoes came to mind that I have had for many years. I bought them on sale, but it was a big purchase for me when I bought them. And I did wear them with a certain outfit to a few certain events, but they never really fit me right. It was kind of like Drizella. I think they were like a 7 and I was a 7.5 then. And I think I'm an 8 now. I don't know how that happens. Right? Everything else.
Childbirth. Pregnancy. Yeah.
I think it's very strange that your feet get bigger, but it's true. And I've had these Jimmies in my closet for a long time, and I gave them away.
I had to do the same thing with my black suede cowboy boots that were just my absolute favorites because, yes, after pregnancy, they no longer fit. And I was a size 7 too before. So I don't know what happened.
Well,
but it
I
does
guess
something.
everybody that was born on January 17th starts out with a 7-foot, maybe. But I'm talking about, I know those were your fave, but I'm talking about stuff that you think is valuable and you're just keeping because it's air quote valuable. It's not valuable if it's not valuable to you. And maybe if it is truly kind of valuable on the open market, you could sell them.
Oh, are you going to
Whatever
try
it
to
is.
sell them at like a Fashion File or the Real Real or something?
We took them to a consignment store, a local
Oh,
consignment store with some other stuff. So I don't know if they're going to go or not, but
Oh, okay.
they're not in my house taking up room on my shelf anymore.
I think that stuff sort of stresses you out because then you just feel like, why did I buy these? Because now they're sitting here and I can't use them. Whereas if you just move them on out, even if you give them away, they're not taunting you like they are if they're sitting there in your closet.
Stop taunting me, Jimmy. You don't fit
Well,
anymore.
Anything in your house that's really not usable, that you're not enjoying, it really just doesn't make sense.
Sports equipment. And this could mean big pieces, such as ellipticals or treadmills.
I think just having it in your house, doesn't that count as losing weight?
Well, you bought it. So, yeah, it must be working.
Well, my mom had all this stuff in her bedroom. My brother said, "You're not using this, get rid of it." My mom, "No, I'm still using it." Of course, we knew that was a lie.
Your mom had sports equipment in her bedroom?
Well, she had a treadmill and
elliptical? She had both a treadmill and an elliptical?
Yes, in her bedroom. Of course, they looked awful. So I just would cringe every time I saw them. Well, and her collection of dolls, which you know how I feel like with dolls in the bedroom, they shouldn't be there. I don't want them staring at me. Some people don't like portraits in their bedroom, but the dolls, they get me every time. So there's dolls sitting on it. There's clothes. And it was not, and pillows. Oh, she had all her pillows over there on them. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just a design nightmare over here. Please get rid of these. No, I'm still using them. I'm like, well, for pillow storage, yes, but not for the way you're supposed to be using it. She wouldn't get rid of them. And then, like a few months ago, she trips on her shoes and then falls on the treadmill and then hurts her back. She was in pain for months. She's fine now, but you just feel like had she gotten rid of it.
So she wasn't working out on it. She just tripped over it.
Yeah, she tripped. She fell on it.
No, gosh, Anita,
so it was a hazard.
I don't even know what to say there. But if you've got treadmills or ellipticals, or even a set of weights that are getting dusty, hey, the best thing you can do is start to use those things, because that's gonna lead to longevity and a happy life. But if it's not in the cards and it's just sitting there taking up space, get rid of it.
Well, and as we've just proven, it's dangerous. It's a hazard to have this stuff in your house if you're not using it.
Oh my goodness, you're so funny. Excessive hangers. Oh yeah, I'm also guilty of that. I don't know. I open a clothing store. That's how many extra hangers we had at one period of time. And I don't like them when they don't match. They don't have to be snazzy, but they have to be the same color.
Oh no, I have the clear kind that they have, in the store. And someone said, "What, did you steal these all from the store?" And I'm like, "No, I bought them. All mine match." And then if it's on a wire hanger, nope, not in my closet. So I don't have those extra ones.
And if you're a person who goes to the dry cleaner and you get those wire hangers, they will take them back and they'll be happy to do that as well.
Oh, I think they do take them back. Yes, even at ours.
That was our rapid fire declutter for 2024. And I hope you were playing along with us. And if you weren't playing along with us, you could also always replay the episode or just go around your house and pull out the stuff that you don't need anymore and move it on out. You're going to feel so much better. And it's a great thing to do in January. I call it getting the Januaries. It's just kind of wanting to organize things and declutter and simplify. And after you do all of that, get yourself a bouquet of flowers, an orchid, something beautiful, or light a candle that you really do like and enjoy it. So what are we defining today?
A Chiavari chair. Do you know what that is?
I do.
You do? Good. Okay. So these are chairs that can be seen in a wedding or other fancy events. They're gold and they can be made from wood or brass, but you've seen them probably in pictures of maybe a White House event, or maybe you've sat on one at a nice wedding. So they're really pretty chairs and they date back to the 19th century. They were invented in 1807 when Giuseppe Descalzi was commissioned to update the chairs at the Economic Society of Chiavari. And then the city gifted a pair of these chairs to Pope Leo XIII in 1892. Well,
oh my gosh.
When the Pope has it, everyone wants it. So the chair became the height of fashion. And, basically what I said, everybody wanted one. And then Queen Victoria got in on the act. And, when Queen Victoria has it, then really everybody wants it. So, they're in wide use even today. And for example, the 1953 wedding of John and Jackie Kennedy, those were the chairs that were there.
That is so interesting because as I said, I know of the chair, but I didn't know anything about the history of it. I just thought it was a really good rental chair because most of the time there are chairs you could rent. And when I used to do a lot of volunteering for the schools and whatnot, and we were doing the various benefits, I remember a very heated discussion because we were having one of the benefits at somebody's really snazzy house and we had to rent everything. And I really remember a very heated PTA discussion of whether we were going to go for it with those chairs. Had I known at that point, because I was on the go for it side.
Yeah. Well, you didn't even have to tell me. I knew that was going to be the case.
But if I was able to drop the Pope and Queen Victoria, I might have really persuaded them. I think we did end up going for them, though.
The DTT Defines, I'm telling you, it saves us all the time. In fact, a discussion that Kevin and I had the other day, it's going to turn into a DTT Defines. So there you go.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm on the edge of my seat for that. Okay, so my crush, it is January, everybody, and we were just joking about getting rid of, or better yet, using some sports equipment. Well, here's some athletic endeavor you can do. You don't even really need any equipment. I found a new yoga instructor on YouTube over the Christmas holidays, and I love her. I still love Cassandra, who I've told you about in the past. Cassandra with a K, she's on YouTube as well, but Charlie Follows, which is such a great last name when you want someone to follow you. So she's British. She's got this really interesting accent. She's clearly British, but it seems like there's something else going in there as well. She's this lovely young woman, and her yoga is so good. If you know anything about yoga, she mostly does like a vinyasa flow. Her flows are so good from one move to the next, and she does it in the most beautiful environments. Lots of times at her home in England. I don't know exactly where she is, but she'll do it out in her garden under her pergola. So beautiful. Recently, I've been doing a few, and she clearly looks like she's in Tuscany with the cypress trees. Sometimes she's on the beach. It's just lovely, and she's got such a calming way about her. So the link will be in the show notes to Charlie Follow.
My crush is a pink toaster that I got for Evie because she loves all things pink. And I know she has her toaster sitting out. So I found this one on Amazon. I'll include a link to it. It was less than $40. She's used it. She loves it. It's kind of a hot pink, really charming. It's like Russell and Hobbs.
Oh, yeah. They're cute.
Toasters and that we both love. But anyway, I got her the pink one and she's really loving it.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, have a beautiful rest of our birthday, Anita.
Oh, you too, Kelly. I wish we could raise a glass of champagne together. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us on our birthday. We enjoyed it so much. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.